Tanner is a junior high student that I think a lot of you can relate with. He's this dude that loves sports, and to be honest with you, he's pretty darn good at them. He's big for his age, so football is something that comes naturally to him. That quarterback, wide receiver, linebacker, he can do it all. But his real love is basketball. You can't keep him away from the basketball court. There's like a gravitational pull between him and the court. He can't get enough of it. All his life, baby. He has big hoop dreams, and he hopes to be in the league one day. Tanner loves to play video games. Get him on the sticks, and he will take you to battle in Call of Duty and NBA 2K. I have to be honest with you. I've played him a few times, roughly 10 times, and I've lost every single time. I'm still trying to figure out if he's just that good or if your boy's just that bad. Regardless, I've received a lot of L's from that dude. Tanner has a lot of friends, like a lot of friends. I guess you could label him as the popular kid, but he's not your stereotypical popular kid. He doesn't bulldoze through people to gain popularity. Quite the opposite. He's someone that looks after people. He's nice to everyone. He takes care of others. So people just respect him and they love him. I think there's parts of Tanner's story that a lot of you can relate with. However, there's one part that probably only a handful of you can relate with. You see, Tanner didn't grow up with a dad. At an early age, Tanner's dad didn't want anything to do with him. He bounced and left him and his mom with no heads up. Tanner's dad dealt him a hand that no kid should ever have to deal with. The more you get to know Tanner and his story, the more he makes sense. On the outside, it seems like he has it all together. It seems like he's a normal junior high student. However, on the inside, he struggles. Anger. Thoughts of not being good enough. Having trust issues because someone that was supposed to stick around, they didn't. Some days he just feels sad because he can't shake the feeling that he isn't wanted. Now that I think of it, I think more than just a handful of you can relate to that too. One day, Tanner was at school. The bell rang, school ended, and Tanner had one thing in his mind, and that was to get home. You see, Tanner had an after-school routine. He's gonna throw some chicken nuggets in the microwave and play some Call of Duty with the boys. However, this day was different. Just as he was about to leave, some random student pastors showed up to his school. Tanner thought that was weird. He never really went to church, so it was weird seeing a pastor, let alone seeing a pastor at his school. Tanner could see the student pastor inviting kids to come to Christian club that was happening after school. He did his best to avoid eye contact so he wouldn't have to have an awkward conversation with him. He had a plan, and it was this: if he could just make it to the gate at the back of the school, this pastor would not ruin his routine and he would be home free. Well, Tanner didn't make it more than 2 steps after devising this plan to make it home. The student pastor sprinted and caught up to Tanner and asked him if he wanted to come to the Christian club. Just as Tanner was about to say no, he was told there would be free pizza. Come on, forget about it. No one is saying no to free pizza. Reluctantly, Tanner said yes. He could probably use a break from the frozen chicken nuggets anyways. Tanner walked into that classroom, sat in a desk, and the rest was history. You see, little did Tanner know that day his life would change forever. That day, Tanner heard about Jesus for the first time. He heard what Jesus was about. He heard things like this: but God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. Even when Tanner wasn't perfect and he struggled with things like anger, Jesus still loved him. But there was more. He heard other things like this: this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, He hears us. Tanner, for the first time, understood that there was someone to talk to about his dad leaving him and his mom. And they actually cared and listened. At this point, Tanner was baffled. He couldn't believe how interesting this Jesus guy was. He heard more. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and don't be afraid. Tanner understood for the first time he no longer had to live in his grief or sadness. Peace was possible through Jesus, even in the midst of his terrible circumstances. But the thing that stood out to him the most was the mission of Jesus that was given to the people that believed in him. Matthew 28:19-20 says this, "Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of age." Tanner was all in. He didn't care that Jesus was new to him. He didn't care that he didn't have it all together. He didn't care that he wasn't perfect. He knew that Jesus loved him. And now that it was on him to go tell others about Jesus. He couldn't hold it in to himself. He had to go share and teach other junior high students about Jesus. If Jesus could rescue him from his situation, he had to go tell others about it. Tanner texted me this past week when I asked him about meeting Jesus, and he said this, "I have tried to find so many different ways to find fulfillment, but the only thing that gave me fulfillment and love that I was looking for was in Jesus." From that point on, Tanner committed to the mission of Jesus. I gotta ask you, like Tanner, are you committed to the mission of Jesus? Are you committed to sharing Jesus with people that don't know who he is? Today, we're gonna start a brand new series called Commit. Over the next couple weeks, we're gonna be talking about areas of your life you need to commit to in order to make it easier to follow Jesus. We believe if you commit to these areas as you pursue Jesus, you will always have a thriving relationship with him, regardless of how your life looks. Before we can talk about these different areas, it's vital that you and I are on the same page. The biggest commitment that we can make is this: commit to the mission of Jesus. Jesus' mission for you and I is to go out into the world and teach others about how Jesus died for you and I on the cross, and show them how can we live a life with Jesus at the center. Like Tanner, are you willing to commit your life to the last thing that Jesus commanded us to do? Before Jesus left earth for heaven, he instructed us to point others to him, to walk alongside people that don't have a relationship with him and teach them about who Jesus is. Now, you gotta understand something. This is so important. Jesus didn't tell us to do this because his ego needed boosting. Jesus doesn't desire celebrity status. Jesus isn't a narcissist that needs more admiration from others. The reason Jesus asked us to commit to telling others about him is because he loves you. A relationship with Jesus means we get to trade our hopelessness for hope. We get to trade our guilt for peace. We get to trade our sin for freedom. Everything we've been searching for can be found in Jesus. And like Tanner, we have to be so on fire for Jesus that we can't help but share these incredible realities with others. Here's what I know about you. Yes, I'm talking to you. You wish to bring hope to this world. You see struggle everywhere you go, and everything inside of you is screaming, do something about it. you don't just want to see small change. You want to see earth-shattering change in your schools, on your teams, with your friends, at your homes. You want others to have hope. The only way this is going to happen is if you step up and commit to the mission of Jesus. Don't wait. Stop making excuses. Don't look around for someone else to do it. Jesus has called you to be a Christ-centered difference maker. Let's commit to the mission of Jesus and share the hope everyone's looking for.